This is Isabelle Litzler, the place to be to develop your skills and grow your potential. So today I wanted to give you a very good example on how to reply to the question, tell me about yourself. A lot of people are very anxious about this question because they don't know how to tackle it. Should I go back to my first experience way back when and work my way forward? Should I give just a few phrases? And it's always making people very, very anxious, and they're afraid they're not going to approach it in the right way. So I wanted to go through a typical answer that you can give to that question, tell me about yourself, in 60 seconds sharp. Make sure that you use a timer when you're going to rehearse answering that question. So the example that I'm going to give you, of course, is a script, so you can just insert your information in that script and train yourself to say this very smoothly during no more than 60 seconds or 1 minute. So that would be your reply to that question, and let the recruiter come back to you and ask you more questions. They're going to tease out elements of that presentation and want to know more about some specifics. Of course, this script is for someone who's a young graduate. So if you're a bit more senior, maybe you need to play around the script a little bit to insert something more recent that you did. But basically, this is an example that you can use now to answer that question going forward. So without further ado, let me just go ahead and share that with you. So I use me as the candidate because that just made more sense. So let's get started within 60 seconds. Hi, my name is Isabelle Litzler and I'm a fresh graduate from University of Geneva. I studied human resources management because I really enjoy working with people, and I'm fascinated with the role of people in building and operating companies. Without the people, you don't have a business. While in school, I was an intern last year at Nestlé, where I work with the recruitment team and help coordinate interviews of candidates for their junior management program. I really understood the role and value that recruiters create and how they help ensure a company always hires the best talent. I saw an opportunity on Jobup to be a recruitment assistant at Procter and Gamble in Geneva. And after doing my research, I saw that Procter and Gamble was one of the leaders in FMCG, and I feel that my experience and work ethic will make me a valuable contributor for this role. So if you listen to this again, maybe you replay my video, you see that it's very to the point, it's short. So I'm going to now break it down with different elements that you need to insert to make your presentation effective. So the first thing in the introduction is to refer what kind of degree that you have. So it gives a little bit of a benchmark on your skill set. So did you graduate in engineering, in management? It gives a little bit of flavor there. But you don't want to go too in depth with that, just mentioning that you graduated from a school. So even if you're a senior leader, you just mentioned, I got my MBA in 2000 from such and such university. What you want to do then is to make sure that you insist on the category of work that you're looking for. So if you're an HR person, like this example, you're going to show that you really enjoy working with people, you understand recruitment in companies, etc. So if you're in supply chain, you like the logistics aspect of things. So always show your passion for a particular topic. That's always very powerful. So that's the second stage of this presentation. The third stage is mentioning the latest experience and why it's connected to the job now. So again, if you're a senior leader, take the latest example. My latest job was a senior manager at such and such company where I delivered such and such value, etc. So always take the most recent example. Let the recruiter go back and ask you questions about your history, but you want to use a very recent example. Now, that said, if you're changing careers and maybe you go back to a career you were doing a bit earlier, maybe you want to give an example that makes more sense. So in other words, if you took, let's say, a job that's not really related in your last job, maybe you go back to something you did a few years back. Within the last 5 years, I was a senior manager in supply chain and I did such and such things. So you want to always use an example that's relevant. If your latest job is not relevant, don't use the latest job. So that's why you have to use your common sense also a little bit when you build this answer. So you really understand the role, you valued what you were doing in your last job, and then you bring it to now. So this is the part that most people will forget in their presentation, is they will say, yeah, my name is such and such. I graduated from this university. I worked the last 10 years in supply chain or management, and and they usually stop with their last experience and they say, and lately, I was working at this company, and then they stop. It's missing the link about why is that connected to you applying and being in front of me today. So this example gives you the perfect link to that. So you say, I saw an opportunity on a job board or maybe via a network contact, and I realized that the last job and what I was doing was very connected to this job, and therefore I would be a perfect candidate. And also you can insist on maybe something particular that you liked. I like that you save children if it's not for profit. I like that you build more efficiency in the banking processes, or just use whatever is available for your particular job you're applying for. But I would make this sentence really linked to, this is why I'm applying for this job today. So this part again is going to make a huge difference with you and the other candidates. And you're going to also show your motivation. You're not just applying because you saw an opening. You're applying because it's linked to your trade, your skill, and also it's linked to the passion that you have for this organization, for what they represent. So whether they're a leader in their industry, maybe they brought something different, a disruption in the market. So I know a lot of people have watched my video about the top 10 companies that people want to work for, and it's by no surprise that a lot of tech companies are on top 10, because people who disrupted or brought something new is always more exciting to work for than your traditional day-to-day, maybe where you will not have that much challenge and you're working in a very classic type of industry. People would rather dream about working for Google and Facebook, where it's more innovative, it's more again disruptive, fun, etc. So especially if you target those companies that are a bit more wanted and they get tons of application, you can't just say, hi, I saw a job ad and I applied at Facebook. That's not going to cut it. Now, if you use what I just taught you to do something with this information and say, okay, what is Facebook doing now? Okay, I know that they merge with Instagram, and now what are their innovations going forward? Are they going to bring crypto money into Facebook, and people will be able to do automated payments? So start to see the news a little bit about these organizations and where your specific skill is going to be applicable, and you're going to make a huge difference. Especially again, if you're applying for a manager and above type of role, you want to see as someone who's a leader, and you see things a little bit moving forward. You're not just applying for a position. So that would be my 2 cents to finish this video, is really focus on reading about the organization before you have the interview, so that you can really make an impression when you answer this question. If you have suggestions, if you have ideas, maybe you used a particular presentation that worked well in your last interview, feel free to share the script, or maybe things that you said that recruiters enjoyed hearing about. And as always, feel free to comment and share. I talk to you soon.